Alright, today you guys, we're going to do this Day of the Dead assignment. And so these are some student examples from past years. What you guys should start thinking about is a celebrity that may have passed away. It could have been a long time ago, or it could have been recently. Movie star, sports star, comedian, musician, pop star. And then let's go ahead and get this started. So we're going to set this up as a new project in Photopea. Here I'm going to say new project, title this Day of the Dead. And then right here, we should change this to inches, 11 by 17. And then right here, I want to change the DPI to 300. And I'm going to change this from white to background. And what that's going to do, as long as black is my background, that's just going to be easier for this kind of dark image. And then just say create. All right, so now you should have a black page. What we want to do is find that celebrity. So you can go to Google, open a new tab, and just Google dead celebrities, images. The hard part is we want a really good image of this person. If you need to, what you can do is go to your tools right here, size right here, and say large, and then that'll reveal larger images. And so be careful with what you choose, but you want to choose someone that you know and someone that you like. Click on some of these images. This is a large size image. If it's over 1,000, that's kind of what we're shooting for, but if it's under 1,000, that's okay. So some of these are pretty large size because I selected large, but if I go to any size, one of Robin Williams. So this one is 480 by 360. It's a little small, but it could work. I'm going to do Eddie Van Halen. So I was looking through some of his images. What I want is something that's clear, just preferably of him, preferably not a lot of other things going on in the background. I found one earlier, so I'm going to use this one. I like the close-up, just portrait of him. I think this will be a good one to use. If I right-click and save image as, just retitle it, and then remember where I save it. I want to save it to my pictures. Then I'm going to go back to Photopea. I'm going to simply just drag that image up, and notice it's a lot smaller image than my canvas size. And so what I want to do is hold the shift key down and always grab from here, from the corner, and drag down. All right, and you'll notice that he doesn't fit the whole image. I want to just get him to fit on the sides, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag down here. I don't want to drag from the center because that'll mess this up, but just click in the image and drag down. And now it has this rectangle around it. That's my bounding box. It's my transform tool, and I just want to either click enter or OK, or click this to confirm that that's where I want it. And so since this image already kind of faded into black, it's kind of nice right here. You guys can use other things to help you clean that up. So right now what I want to do, go get the image of the skull. And so I can go back and I can image search skull. And what I'm looking for is a skull that is the same as his. He's facing the front. You notice with some of these skulls, they're turned to the side. And so if your celebrity is turned to the side, you'd obviously want to use one of these. Some of these are drawings, so they're a little different. I've actually already got a skull that I downloaded earlier to save time. And so I'm just going to pull that. Here's a skull. I drag that up and just place it right on top. Okay, so now I have the image of the skull. And what I want to do is place this right over the celebrity's face. What I have to do is bring it down, but obviously it's on top of this, making it difficult. So what I can do is lower the opacity over here and bring this down enough that I can see enough of the person's face to see what's going on, but without revealing too much of this. I want to zoom in on this person. So remember, Control plus zooms in. You notice that the bounding box has gone away. A way to bring that back is go right up here, free transform, make sure that I'm on the skull layer, and say edit, retransform. There we go. There's my bounding box again. And so if I go right to the edge, you'll see these arrows. And so I can click, kind of turn it a little bit. It's a little bit lopsided. And then I can also resize it. And remember to always hold shift when I'm resizing. All right. And the way to line it up is I'm trying to line up the jaw line, but also the eyes, while at the same time I'm trying to line up the teeth. Some skulls line up pretty nicely. Some it's a little bit tougher to line up. You might just have to rotate, and so pretty close as far as the chin and everything. And so I'm going to say okay, hit the check mark. And so what I want to do is make a layer mask of this skull. I don't want all of this showing. Let me switch my foreground and background. And before I do that, I can see right down here it has a little smart object. And so what I want to do is right click on that layer and I want to say rasterize. And now it's not a smart object. And so now I want to click add raster mask. So what we want to do now is make sure we have the mask selected. So you see these dashed lines around it in a box. That means it's selected. And then I want to come up here to image, adjustments, and I want to invert or control I. Now you can see that that mask is now black. And so over here in our controls, what we always want to remember is that white reveals, black conceals. And so if I switch back to my white as my foreground, black as my background, and I make sure that I'm on this layer and that I'm on this mask, what we want to do is use our brush tool. Come over to your brush tool, and then you want to increase the size of your brush. I'm going with something like 700, and I'm decreasing the hardness of that brush. And then what I can do is come over to my image and just click and start to reveal that skull slowly and just in the parts that I want. And so if you want the whole thing, you can do that, or maybe you just want the nose and the mouth to come through. And so since my brush is very large but is only revealing some of it, I can kind of select what I would like to reveal. And I can click and see if I want the whole skull up here, and I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to hit Control Z. And so remember, little brush strokes to reveal. And then it's okay if you reveal too much. You can always switch your colors and put black as your foreground, and then you can take that part away. And so remember, white reveals, black conceals. With these masks, I'm going to include some of the teeth like that. Maybe bring it up a little bit here. And there you go. That's pretty much it. Real easy. Have fun with it. Try to make it look, have a soft edge like that. You don't want it to look cut out. And so the way I did that was just brought down my hardness, brought up the size of my brush to reveal more. When I go to save it, what I want to do is save as a PSD. That's going to save all my layers. And then I also want to export as a JPG. And that way, when you guys submit, I can see both. And I'm just going to say save. And then when I go to submit this, they're both right here. And I would submit the PSD and the JPG. All right, have fun.